Hello, my name is Kevin Spurway. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Altosoft, and today I'm going to very quickly go through a presentation that describes in detail why Altosoft is different from other business intelligence solutions out there on the market today. In particular, I'm going to take a little bit of an architectural approach and talk conceptually about how our architecture is improved upon the traditional approaches that you might find out there in the market and other places. So just to start off here, I wanted to quickly introduce the Altosoft products that we have on the market today. There are a number of different modules, some of which actually aren't listed here, but these are the three primary modules that Altosoft offers. The first is called MetricSmart, and MetricSmart is effectively a data integration solution. It enables users to very quickly build and deploy and maintain what we call an automatic smart data mart. And what that effectively does is enables an organization to very quickly connect to and gather data from multiple data sources anywhere in their enterprise, convert that data into KPI metrics, and then deliver that into an open, optimized data mart. We'll talk about that in some more detail in the next few minutes. The next module is Insight BI. And Insight BI is really the front-end solution that typically end users are going to be working with. It effectively is dashboarding and reporting capability, but it's designed to facilitate very rapid solution development because it uses a guided approach and a code-free approach, which is unique in the industry. The final element is ProcessSmart, and ProcessSmart is absolutely something that you can't find anywhere else. It actually is the representation of a capability that we have in the product, a business process state engine, which enables us to monitor any business process across any operational system and analyze that process to deliver a holistic process-centric view of business activity within the organization. Traditional business intelligence really represents a static view. It looks at business as a series of records, whereas process recognizes that in fact those records are related and there are relationships between every business event that happens in your organization. So effectively what we're doing is we're giving you a different way of looking at your data, a process-centric way of looking at your organization, and that has some compelling ramifications for organizations that in particular are focused on quality improvement, focused on optimizing their business processes, which more and more these days we're finding is something that customers are very interested in doing. The focus of today's presentation will really be on the first two of these solutions. So we'll talk about MetricSmart, we'll talk about Insight BI. The ProcessSmart capability really won't be discussed in much detail today. However, I would recommend that everybody go and check out our Business Process Intelligence Overview, which is available for download on our website. So I thought I'd kick things off here by first talking about the old way that organizations solve their business intelligence problems. Of course, business intelligence really arose out of a simple problem. Basically, organizations were creating and accumulating data in various operational systems that you see here on the left-hand side, and they had business users here on the right-hand side who needed to get access to that data, to study that data, to analyze that data in order to improve the business. And of course, that's why business intelligence was invented. And at the beginning, business intelligence was all about reporting, but then organizations added in additional capability over time for dashboarding, analysis, scorecarding, and various other features and functions. But fundamentally, if you think about it, these business users over here really need some basic capabilities in terms of what's being delivered to them, and they don't really care about all the architecture that happens here in the middle. What they do care about is that the solution that they implement to get the information have a couple of different key characteristics. First of all, they want to implement it quickly. They don't want to wait a year or a year and a half before they have their business intelligence solution implemented. They want the implementation and the maintenance of that solution to be cost effective. Obviously, spending less money on a solution is better than spending more. They want the solution to be flexible. So if they need to add new data sources, if they want to visualize or analyze their information in new ways, the solution should be able to respond to that quickly. And probably most importantly, they don't want to spend a lot of time waiting for their solution. When new information comes in and they want to see their information in the same way or in a different way, they want to be able to get it quickly. They don't want to wait days or weeks for updated reports. They basically want that information on demand. So from an architectural standpoint, at first, organizations ran their business intelligence solutions directly against data sources, but naturally, as you might imagine, being familiar with the way that these things work, as you ramp up the number of end users and you add new data sources, a number of problems arise. In particular, you have a scalability issue with the number of queries coming in from the end users over here, adding a significant load on the data sources over here, and you also have some additional problems as well around more complicated types of operations, in particular outer joins between different data sources, multi-pass queries, that this architecture, a direct architecture where the BI solution runs queries directly, wasn't a long-term solution. So of course organizations added additional layers to their architecture. In particular, they added a data warehouse, they added an ETL solution to help build that data warehouse, and they built marts and cubes. And they did this for a few different reasons. First and foremost, the idea of isolating the front end of the solution from the back end was essential to this architecture. So basically what they're able to do now, or what organizations did, was to create a solution whereby the query performance of the front end of the solution, everything from the ETL layer on, wasn't impacting the back end in terms of the additional load of adding new users and new queries. So the ETL solution was designed to bring together, to pull all the data from each individual data source and move that data into the data warehouse. And then the queries would come in from the end users through the business intelligence solution. Organizations built marts and cubes that needed to be populated from the data warehouse in order to address the dimensional requirements for analysis or the scalability requirements with optimized data for the business intelligence solution to work against. And this is basically the modern business intelligence architecture that you see here. There are a number of different challenges associated with this architecture. The first challenge, of course, is that ETL and ETL tools generally are hard. They're complicated, and they require a significant investment for an organization to make. They require you, or typically are used, to move all of the data from each individual data source, as opposed to moving a fraction of the data that's relevant to the business users themselves. So, as you might imagine, that's relatively inefficient. You're basically moving all of your data into this central data warehouse. Once you have the data warehouse built, the story isn't over. You basically don't have query optimized data in that warehouse. So organizations are forced to go and build these marts. They're forced to go and build these cubes for dimensional analysis. And that introduces additional complexity in terms of the cost of building and maintaining all of these different components within the architecture. This architecture also introduces latency problems. Generally speaking, when you're building your data warehouse, you're doing that not on an incremental basis in terms of updates as the data changes in these source systems, but you're doing it on a batch basis, which is typically 24 hours or longer, according to studies that are out there that show that 95% of all business intelligence implementations have a latency of over 24 hours. So as you might imagine, if end users need fresher data, for operational business intelligence problems in particular, this architecture isn't well suited to solving those problems. Finally, because you have so many moving parts, change is very difficult, as you might imagine. If you want to add a new report, add a new data source, create a new dashboard, you have to make changes at your BI layer, your data marts or your cubes. Your warehouse might need to change. You need to update the way that your ETL solution is dealing with your source data. So all of this complexity increases the cost and increases the time that it takes to maintain this system. So it's not surprising that organizations are struggling with business intelligence. They're finding that in many cases the cost exceeds the benefits of moving forward and enhancing and extending their business intelligence environments, and that frustration is pretty widely recognized in the industry. In fact, if we go back and we think about those key requirements that business users have for their BI, the existing architecture typically really isn't solving those challenges. It's not fast in terms of an implementation time frame. It's not particularly cost effective. It's difficult to change, so it's not very flexible, and it requires end users to spend a lot of time waiting for their data in terms of their requirements for new reports and new dashboards. So really, there's quite a bit of room for improvement, and what we've tried to do at Altosoft is to take a new direction, a new mechanism, which keeps the best features of the old architecture, but at the same time improves it at every point, and in the end delivers a much cleaner, more efficient, faster, and easier solution for business intelligence.